We are back for episode 96 of the Auld Triangle podcast. Our second last podcast of the year. As we round up 2025, we'll have a year in review coming in the next week or so for everybody. As always, Andy Stevenson, Caoilte Barra, and myself, Ian O'Neill, we're here to bring you all the latest news in Irish mixed martial arts. Just a little bit over a week from Christmas now. I was saying to the lads before we started recording, the snow is coming down heavy here in Saskatoon. We're definitely getting a white Christmas over here, which is no surprise. No sign of snow your direction, lads. It'll be a grey Christmas. In where are you spending it, Caoilte?
It could be a white Christmas for some in Dublin, but I don't think for most people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Excellent. Brilliant.
What are you doing for a Caoilte?
Back home in Dungarvan. It's a fine county of Waterford, and Christmas Day swim. And just stuff my face.
The Christmas Day swim. I know a few people do that. Fair play to anyone who does that.
It's a real show-off move there now, isn't it?
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a tradition. It's actually great crack. I can't lie.
Is it for charity?
Domenico?
Yeah, it's Lion. I think the Lions Club start there. They do collections there. It's lovely though. But yeah, afterwards, I feel like you go in the salt water, you come out after freezing. It's kind of like, oh yeah. It makes you feel a little bit better about all the shit you put into your body over the next 24 hours afterwards. So I think it's one of those bit of a placebo effect, but it's also for a good cause and you get out the house.
100%. You're heading over stateside, Andy.
I am. I'm going for a Yank Christmas this year, so looking forward to that. I'm heading over this coming Saturday. So just gonna eat and do nothing for a week. It's gonna be great. So looking forward to that.
So what do we have on the Christmas dinner plate, lads? Are we turkey and ham? Is it just turkey? Are we gravy? Are we cranberry sauce?
You go first, Andy.
Are we broccoli or are we Brussels sprout?
I'll throw out a hot take for just to start us off here. Turkey is fucking shite, and everyone just pretends that they like turkey at Christmas. It's awful. It's dry unless you get the dark meat. Then it's there's a bit of flavor to it. But I'll be definitely leaning towards the ham. Now you have to have the turkey and the ham on Christmas Day, obviously. But I think we're all codding ourselves. No, does anyone really like turkey? I don't think they do.
I definitely am with you. I only have turkey maybe once a year, right? But I think a key to good turkey is good gravy.
Oh yeah, and a bit of stuffing.
Bit of stuffing as well, yeah.
And by bit I mean half a plate of stuffing.
Oh, load it onto the plate. Never mind the vegetables. Stuffing, spuds, turkey, few peas, few carrots maybe. Loaded with gravy, like smothering in gravy. And my mother and father are coming over to Saskatoon for Christmas, so my father makes the best gravy ever, so I'm looking forward to that now.
Do you go butter on the potatoes and gravy, or how do you do that now?
Well, I'll have mashed potatoes and I'll have roast potatoes, right? So the mashed potatoes will have a load of butter in them anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
And then the roast potatoes will be basted in the turkey juice.
Fat. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking here now.
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
And you couldn't insult an old buttery, you couldn't have an old buttery roast there now, because it'd be taken away from the juices that the chicken is after creating there over the few hours. So I wouldn't insult the roast potato by putting a bit of butter on top of it now. After that, that would be the way I'd be thinking there now.
Do you do a bit of veg? What do you think, Caoilte?
I'm not gonna lie to you, lads. I haven't a clue what you. I know what you're talking about. I've never tasted outside the vegetables. Most of the stuff that you've just listed off, I'm there grinning away to myself.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, of course.
So for those, I'll lose. A lot of people will lose. Probably will not be too fond of this now, but I've never eaten meat. I'm 28 years of age. I was raised a vegetarian. My Christmas dinners have been very different. They've
do you just have a head of broccoli or something, or what do you have?
Bit of cabbage, all that stuff, Brussels sprouts. No, I think it depends. Each year is a bit weird. I used to be a picky eater, so I remember one year I was having like curry one year, but no, now it's a bit of a nut.
Do you still do the tradition?
nut
Like, do you do
roast.
the traditional Christmas dinner still, or obviously, I assume, right?
To an extent, it's more of a nut roast. It varies
roast.
every year, to be honest. But
Yeah.
nut roast is kind of the big one nowadays, with all the veg, and there's a bit of gravy in there as well. But not to the extent that you guys would be having. So
Here
it's
we
very,
were.
very
Me and Andy
different.
were talking about
Elevated.
butcher, savage, and
Get that grease on it there,
I was hearing duck fat, and I was like, haven't a clue, haven't the notion, never
That's
tasted
kind
it
of
in my life.
like the Americans though as well. Like, cause like when I'd be going over here, like I don't know what we're having. I think we're having like Italian food or something for Christmas.
Right.
Because they don't really do they do the traditional meal on Thanksgiving, where
Yeah.
everyone will do like the turkey and all that stuff. But I think it varies depending on the family or where you live in the country and stuff. Like Christmas is an absolute lottery. I think when it goes like you sit down and you have your family dinner, and the rest of it's the same. But the food itself is I haven't a clue. Could be anything.
It's like for me now, I have to I'm taking time off work. Like we'd be working right up until Christmas Eve. You don't have Stevens' day off over here. It's like, which is really weird because in Ireland you always get that break off. So I always found that very difficult. Yeah, because Stevens' day is a great drinking day. But anyway, I digress. Christmas is coming. I love that angle. I completely forgot, Caoilte, that you were a vegetarian. And
Yeah, raised a veggie and decided I never eat meat, or decided I wouldn't eat meat. I might change my mind yet, but sure, look, I'm this far along.
you know you're going. I know you're going on your travels there now next year as well for a little bit. There'll be all kinds of funky fucking foods there, crocodile and fucking all that kind of stuff over in Asia. It'd be interesting, yeah.
Do you know what I did?
No one will know over there, Caoilte. You're half the world away. You can fucking feast down.
I tell you what now, Indonesia I did grand. I travelled all Indonesia and it was fine. So I reckon if Indonesia was sound, you name it, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Tokyo too, I hope, they'll all be fine. Like, so yeah.
Have you ever been tempted to have a little bit of meat? Go ahead.
Good question. Not really tempted. Do you know what the smell? There's one smell that always gets me, and it's the only thing I think like fuck is that. Do you know what the smell of pepperoni on pizza? Fuck me, that one. There's not much, genuinely. There's not much that ever has me thinking, geez, that could be nice. But the smell of pepperoni on pizza, I'd be looking at it thinking, do you know what? That fucking smells all right. But the rest
All I can think of is the video of Marab recently where his mate, he's like sniffing the pizza and then he's eating a load of veg or something.
That's hilarious.
It's Caoilte every Saturday night when
in the chipper there.
Get takeaway,
Yeah.
Do you do fish, Caoilte?
No, haven't eaten fish or anything like that either. Like, so it's pure veggie through and through.
Your body probably reject it though if you had a steak now tomorrow, you'd probably be puking up the place.
Yeah.
Awful. I need to do it slowly. I nearly did it for TV once. There was a show when I was in college. I wanted money. They're offering a couple of grand for people to switch over who are vegetarians. I rang them. I was like, I never ate meat. But sure, how can you prove that? Like, so I could have been just saying it for a few quid on telly, but alas, never happened. And never been tempted since.
Nice. There you go. Solid 8 minutes there on Christmas dinners. That's for your listening and viewing pleasure. I think it's
people actually want.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. This one could be called a Christmas special if you wanted a Christmas dinner special. But I suppose we better talk about a few fights. Lads, we had a bit of action that went down in Ireland and outside of Ireland in terms of Irish mixed martial arts. I think we'll start off with GladiatÉire. Obviously, that took place last weekend. Another great show put on by Danny. Lots of good professional fights on there. Lots of great performances on it too, Andy. I mean, Jack Corr was the main event. He defeated Sam Draper via first round TKO and looked really good in doing so too, like marching forward, landing these shots. Busted up the nose of Draper too, which kind of forced the doctor to come in and I think rightfully stopped the fight at the end of the first round too. But another solid performance here from Jack Corr, who's going from strength to strength here, and it probably begs the question, is there bigger and better things ahead for him?
Yeah, really impressed again by Jack Corr, and like Sam Draper, just to say about Sam Draper, like fair play to him. Like very, very tough fighter. His nose was just it was an awful way, and even I think there was like a slow-mo at one point, the blood just coming out everywhere. It was I definitely think it was the right call, but geez, what a warrior he was very much keen to go out there the next round, and I think thankfully the right call was made. But really impressive stuff by Jack Corr. I think it's about time now. He's 4-0, two wins in 2025, and the logical one. Now I don't know if it'll work out timing wise, and also the fact that I'd say everyone and their uncle is probably trying to get on this card, but Cage Warriors 200 is coming up now. Maybe whether it's that card or another Cage Warriors card or another promotion. But I think what I think Jack Corr is ready for is a step up, or even doesn't even have to be like big step up in competition, but let's see him, on he's kind of had his 4 wins on the Irish circuit now, so let's see him maybe go abroad and get that level of experience. Maybe if it's like a Levels show or a WoW, like WoW, obviously we'll talk about later on. Just at the weekend, they're putting on brilliant shows, and Cage Warriors obviously. But yeah, there's definitely options for him, and I think that any of those promotions would be very wise, or even an Oktagon, to look at a Jack Corr, and I think there's a bit of potential there, definitely, and he looks vicious. Like he's a vicious fighter, which is always great to see coming through.
100%, Caoilte. I'm sure you're just as impressed with the performance. What kind of stood out to you most from it?
Yeah, it's the I think Andy mentioned there, the viciousness that he's kind of got that killer instinct in there when he needs it as well. He knows when to put the pressure on, mixes up the strikes quite well, looks very, very fluid and comfortable on the feet, especially moving forward and picking those shots nicely. And they've been the difference maker really in all of his pro fights today. So he's transitioned really, really well in. And that was a solid test as well. It's not going in against a guy who, this guy's not completely unknown. He's had a couple of wins in the UK circuit, so it's a very solid win. And yeah, I'd be very impressed to see what's next. Very interested to see what's next and where he goes. But I think I'd love to see Cage Warriors next and kind of go in there with someone maybe around the same level and see if he can springboard off that.
Yeah, I mean, and the lads he has fought on the way up have been, a decent level for where he's at, but I agree with the two you lads as well. I think it's a step up. It's onto Cage Warriors, PFL, whatever. You're going out, you're performing like that. You'll have plenty of options too. So it'll be exciting to see what's next for Jack Corr. Congratulations to him. He took the bantamweight title on the night. In the main event, co-main event, Marco Boychuk defeated Alex Fagan in the first round submission. Caoilte, what are your takeaways from this one?
This lad's an absolute killer, and he's going under the radar massively in Ireland. I don't think people are underrating him. I just don't think he's spoken about enough. His resume for someone who's just started their pro career of Youssef Oktagon, Jake Gilpin, and now Alex Fagan, all very, very legitimate amateur fighters and just fighters in the country in general. To go in there and pick up 3 wins on the bounce. No easy fights that we do see across the sport, across Ireland. He's taken on very, very difficult opponents, and he's impressing. He looks better and better as it gets on. He's got this relentless pressure, this really good grappling, and similar to Jack Corr, what we said there, he's vicious, very high level. I think he's one to watch, and I'd say I would not be surprised if he ends up on that Cage Warriors card, because everyone wants that card at the moment. Let's be real. I would not be surprised if he gets called up on that one with some of these performances he's putting on. Very impressive start to his pro career.
You're going to have to give out Willy Wonka golden tickets for that. Warriors 200 card is going to be everybody's going to be looking for that.
It'll have to be like a lot of Irish versus Irish fights. Not even saying that from like we harp on about this loads, but like I think
Irish versus
volume
Irish
of fighters.
That's what we want. Full Irish versus
Irish. Because like it's like you're seeing all the familiar names and faces starting to put up posts now that they've for ticket links and all this stuff. So all of them are going to be on it, and then anyone else trying to break through is going to be on it. And then of course it's the 200th show, so you would assume that there'd be fighters from abroad looking to get on there. And I would hope that they would do that. I hope it's not just the exact same as. I'm going on a tangent here, but anyway, there'll be loads of demand for it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Talk to me about Senan Coakley, Andy. Another impressive year for Senan. He picked up a unanimous decision win, 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards. A very solid performance overall against Daniel Ara from CMAC. I think Senon's kind of been flirting around at this level for quite some time. It's going to be interesting to see if he makes the jump in 2026. My guess would be that he probably will, and performances like this will kind of encourage that move as well if he was to make the decision to move up to the pro ranks.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I was very impressed by Senon. Obviously, we've kind of seen him fighting since the start of his amateur career, and he came in as a striker who, had done a lot. Obviously, his brother is a very prolific Muay Thai fighter in Ireland, and Senna came from that style. And then we saw him kind of go in against the likes of Jess Paolo and Brian Manning, where he starts taking his first losses as an amateur, and it was really the grappling. Like he was kind of being held down and wasn't able to do much about it. And now we see, we've kind of come full circle here where it's looking like Senon the grappler Coakley that's out there, because it was all his grappling in this fight really that he was utilising. And I know, sometimes I look at fighters and I see them dipping in and out of MMA and like doing boxing fights and stuff like that. And I started to go down this kind of line of thinking with Senon. I was like, oh, geez, I don't know about this. But then you think, hang on, this guy is just an amateur. He's just learning every facet of the game. And I actually think it's probably a really good thing that, he's taking the boxing fights out in Dubai. He's doing a bit of MMA here. And now when we see him come back onto the Irish scene in MMA, and, he's not just striking. He's a well-rounded mixed martial artist now. And I think this performance kind of was a nice capstone for him to move into the pro ranks coming into next year. And very interesting as well, he's representing Fight Academy Ireland here in this fight. So obviously he was previously training in Team Rhino and out of with Collie Mann out of DCA as well. But like Team Rhino was his MMA gym. Obviously been living abroad in Dubai, and now is coming back and appears to be repping FAI now. So like there's a big shift, I suppose, in Irish MMA where fighters are flocking to FAI. They've obviously seen the success in recent years with Paul, etc. So yeah, that was just kind of an interesting footnote that I thought around this one. But yeah, good stuff from Senon, and I'd be very interested to see now. I think it seems like he is going to go pro next year. So be very interested to see him in the 4-ounce gloves now.
Yeah, like I think, for performances like that, and I remember having a couple of conversations with my good buddy Harry Powell about how you should be developing yourself as a fighter. And I think for a guy like Senon, I think the easy route in that fight would have been to, counter wrestle, keep the fight on the feet and land his striking. But the fact, Caoilte, that he wants to go in there and he wants to grapple and he wants to test his abilities and maybe put himself in a more uncomfortable position than he probably could have in that fight. I think it shows, a level of maturity as a fighter, but also what you need to do. I think that's a very important thing that you need to do, especially when you're fighting at amateur too. When wins and losses, they can come and go. There's no really great shakes over a win or loss at amateur level, but growing as a fighter and being ready when you actually make that decision to turn pro, it's important to do that way and have that mindset, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I feel like he's done it quite well. And he obviously, I think we all pinned him as a striker. I think he's been doing jiu-jitsu since he's been very, very young, which is quite often forgotten about. But obviously, carrying the Coakley name, you'd associate him with the Thai boxing element much more, which his striking we've seen is incredible. But he's branched out and really kind of going over to Dubai to probably honed in that wrestling a little bit more, working with the guys that we've heard from John Mitchell was telling us about before. So I imagine he wanted to come back, prove not to anyone else but himself that he's able to go in, wrestle, and show the world just how good he is at that. And he's really done that. And I think it was, that fight was probably the icing on the cake. So I like how he's kind of managed this end of his career, going in, showing all the different facets of his game, and then showing that he's prepared to go pro next, and kind of gives a taste as to what's next. Really, it's I really like what he's done. It's very impressive, and he's got a good head on young shoulders there.
Big time. And I always looked at Sen, and like you said, Andy, we've been watching him for a while now, and it's there's something about him there. If it all clicks for him at pro, he's going to be a very, very dangerous fighter, and I'm excited to see when and if he makes that move. So I think exciting times for Senon Coakley. Moving on to the rest of the card, anything else that we need to discuss on the rest of the card? Any other fights that you'd like to bring to our attention?
I was really impressed by Owen Garl. He's fighting at a Yoda MMA. To be honest, it was the first time I'd seen him fight, and geez, this guy looks really good. Just really, really well rounded. He looks very impressive on the feet. Was using his leg kicks really well. The way he was moving, his distance management. He just looked really, really good. Ethan Lewis is a very experienced amateur. He's coming in from the UK, I think. Very durable, but so I feel like he presented a very formidable test for Gora, where this wasn't some guy who he was just going to be easily put away. But I don't know. I just watching Garl immediately kind of, just something stood out about him. Just his fluidity, the well-rounded nature of him, and the shots he was picking, the way that he was kind of circling out, the way that he just knew. He seems like he has a really high fight IQ in addition. And yeah, it was just, I hadn't seen him fight before, to be honest with you. And it just kind of caught my eye, and I was like, okay, this is clearly someone who has slipped under my radar and need to start paying attention to moving forward. And I think he's something like, is he 5-0 or something as an amateur or something like that? I think he's something like that anyway. But yeah, really impressed by him. And then the other one was, Dunleavy, Rian Dunleavy. He had a really solid win here against I'm forgetting his name, Jason Shreenan, who I've seen fight before out of ZKJ. Really solid fighter as well. But Rian Dunleavy just didn't give him an inch here and just kind of dominated in the grappling. So impressive stuff there by the Shaolin martial arts guy as well. So yeah, those are the two main ones that I'd probably highlight.
100%. There's another great show by Danny. Production levels were great. Watching back the fights as well, different angles and everything like that. Commentary was good. Another solid show in there. So congrats to Danny and the team there for But I think that was the last show of the year in Ireland. Would I be correct to say that? Last MMA show. I know we did have Elite FC 6, which we will talk about as well.
There was due to be a Pride style one by Cage Legacy, I believe, but I don't think that is taking place anymore.
I don't think so.
I think that was the last one.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Elite FC 6, Caoilte. Persons whose name I've been seeing a lot in 2025 is Jodie the Beast McCarthy. She was up there taking on Chloe Saint-Anne, winning a unanimous decision, getting a big reception from the crowd as well, and putting on a very, very impressive performance as well. And I thought this was a good showing from Jodie, and probably we're going to be talking about her a lot more. Only 18 years of age, I believe. Very, very young.
It's crazy. Great. Like she's been competing since she's been very, very young. She was traveling over to Thailand. She's traveling over to Thailand, and she was competing in Thai boxing at a very young age. She's a very, very high level Thai boxer. Transition over to MMA now, and she's making this transition really smoothly. In this one, we got to see a bit more of the grappling side of her as well, where she's really adapting well and managed to integrate that Thai boxing into her MMA game. So for someone so young and to be competing, they have to, with all that experience now, to be competing in the amateur ranks, she's probably miles ahead of some people who are just entering the amateur ranks, and she's a lot of time ahead of her to develop those skills a lot more, and she could be a real problem in years to come. So a top talent there coming out of MMA Cork.
100%. Anything else worth chit-chatting about in the league card, guys?
Yeah, there's a good few wins there. I just had a realization when I was talking about Owen Garl earlier on, he actually lost. And I probably should have highlighted that part. It was a split decision, which I disagreed with. But yeah, I probably should have mentioned the fact that Ethan Lewis did win the fight. But yeah, I think the judges got that one wrong. But yeah, on just to piggyback off what you were saying there, Caoilte, about I'd love to get Jodie on the podcast next year, because I remember watching videos of her when she was, I don't know, she looks about 7 or 8 or whatever, and she's fighting what looked like fully grown women in Thailand, and like, it's just, I'll be completely honest, it made me a bit uncomfortable. I was like, this is fucking mad. Like, so what a story she had. Like, she must have hundreds of fights, and yeah, still only 18 years old, but it's mad. And like what you said, Ian, huge reception. So she looks like she's certainly becoming a local star in Cork, and it's mad to think, what she could become in years to come. But yeah, there was some other really good performances. Luka, I'll try not butcher this. Luka Nadirashvili.
So that's why I asked you, Andy.
Yeah, he had a great, like, Michael Connolly has looked really good on the Irish scene over the last. I know he's kind of exchanged wins and losses, but I think he's someone who's looked really, really good. And Luca came in here and beat him for an amateur title, and that brings Luca out 4-0. So I think it's his second fight of the year. He has had 3 now on Elite and 1 on Or, fighting out of MMA Cork. So he's looking really, really good. So was quite impressed by him. Jordan White won the vacant bantamweight title over Johnny Duggan. Another, I think Jordan White, is he Team KF? I think, is he Team KF? No, he's Hula Martial Arts. And Johnny Duggan's MMA Cork. And then, yeah, there's some other big wins. Reno Flaherty had a KO in the 3rd round over Tiernan O'Reilly, and I think that's positioned him now for the welterweight title there, coming up in the new year. And yeah, so some really good stuff. Sean Carmody, I think, as well. I think he might be fighting for a title too. He had a submission win in the 1st round, and then a bunch of other decisions. A lot of fighters who are kind of maybe only, they're only finding their feet at amateur, and I'm kind of hesitant to talk about some fighters when they're only like their first amateur fight or second amateur fight. Like, they're only getting their feet wet. So but good stuff from across the board there. And look, I kind of said this under there in their comment section. I probably haven't spoken a lot about Elite FC. I know we've kind of touched on them here and there. Elite FC, they're putting on consistent shows, and my God, I was looking at the numbers. We badly need people like the lads down in MMA Cork and Elite FC putting on these shows, because the numbers are dwindling year on year for Irish MMA, and there's just no, apart from Elite FC, apart from like Fufu, the Fares brothers, Fares fighting championships, we've got nothing. Them and Cage Warriors, we've got nothing in the Republic. So badly needed. Fair play to them for consistently putting on the shows, and long may it continue.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more with that as well, and hopefully they'll continue their success in 2026. It's been a good 2025 for them, and very, very important to get those shows down in the south of Ireland, spread out some of those cards, and give the fighters opportunities. I think that's what it's all about as well. You know what I mean? You can only put on so many shows a year if you're a particular promotion, so the more the merrier. I definitely agree with that. Okay, obviously big news in recent Irish mixed martial arts is that of Will Fleury and his fight against Martin Buday. The double Oktagon champion will take on the UFC vet in December 28th at Oktagon 81 in Prague. I'm excited for this fight. It's an absolutely humongous fight, and I'm very excited to head on over here and talk to the man himself, Will Fleury, about that fight and his preparations, etc. So let's head on over there and hear what Will Fleury has to say. December 28th, a late gift for Irish mixed martial arts fans, as Will Fleury headlines Oktagon 81. The double champion takes on UFC veteran Martin Buday and defends his heavyweight title in what, in my opinion, is one of the biggest fights in Oktagon history. A massive occasion. And Will, you're there, you're topping the bill, and we're just about 2 weeks out. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very excited about the whole thing now. I feel like this is a position I've earned. It's an incredible opportunity to go and show the level I'm at. So just very, very excited.
Years and years of preparation, years and years of blood, sweat, and tears, Will, for you. The hard sparring sessions, the injuries, the ups and downs of your career. When you got into this sport, it's moments like this that you dream of. You wish that you can get a sniff of an opportunity. Obviously, you've had some great moments in winning the titles as well, but these are the big fights. That early mornings where you got up, the struggles through the pandemic, everything like that. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, is this worth it? It must feel good to be in a situation right now where you're at this stature of a fight. You have an opponent that you can go out there and prove your skill set against as well, like a really elite level opponent as well. how do you keep yourself grounded in the lead up to fights like this, and kind of maybe, you know, it was my description of how you're feeling, and do you take those memories into fights like this when you're preparing?
Yeah, so look, I definitely feel very appreciative of the fact that I'm here, and like the funny thing is, this could easily not have happened. I could have easily, like, I was pretty late on in my career before I got to any sort of like, you know, I won the title down in Abu Dhabi and whatever, but it never felt like a massive achievement. Whereas what's happened in the last 18 months has, and even now I've got the chance to go and top that and continue to do that. So I'm in a different space at the moment. Like, I suppose the main thing is I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that this finally has happened, because I thought I could have, like, there was a stage where it was like, you're going to put in a shitload of effort and get nothing out of this. And not nothing out of it, but like, I suppose I always felt like I might never get the chance to show how good of a martial artist I am. And now I feel like as long as I continue to perform, you will. Like, you're on that platform now, you have the stage. You can go and create bigger platforms through winning these fights. There's a narrative around it. I'm already the double champion. I'm going to fight the guy who's 7-1 in the UFC. You can't deny it's an incredible achievement to go up a weight class and beat a guy who's 7-1 in the UFC. A man who's a much bigger man than me. You know, like, I'm very grateful for the fact that I'm getting these opportunities. But it means fuck all if you don't do it, if you know what I mean. So like, with that, there's kind of that chance of like, it's weird, like, it's hard to describe this mentality, because I remember sitting in the hotel room in Vegas being like, hands broken, you've just come off a year ban. What's the point in keeping going? And even like, if you do, you know, where's this going to end? Is this actually ending anyway positively? You know, and here I am, like, less than 2 years later, and it's an incredibly positive place to be. So very grateful for the fact that things have worked out that way. Obviously, it was effort that made that happen to a degree, and self-belief, but might not have happened. I got this opportunity. I took the opportunity. Thank God things worked out. I'm going to continue to keep taking big opportunities and like go balls to the wall with this and keep backing myself, because like, I think it should be fairly obvious to people at this stage, I have the skill set, I have the mentality, I have what it takes to be this guy, and I'm loving it. Like, you know, it's been incredible the last 2 years, you know, so like, yeah, I don't know if I fully answered your question, but like, that's kind of the buzz I'm feeling at the moment.
Yeah, no, you definitely did answer my question as well. And, you know, you mentioned the tough times as well. I believe, you know, at one stage during the ban and when you were injured as well, you were working. You had to, I believe you were driving a van and stuff like that at the time. And
A few different bits,
I remember I was messaging you during the time, and you were telling me that you were doing a few things to make ends meet. That must have been a very kind of, I still do as well.
Still do, yeah.
Like, at that stage, that's probably the moment in your career where you're really questioning, do you really want to do this? Is it worth it? Like, what made you make the decision? Was it a conversation? Was it just like deep thought with yourself that made you like say, no, I'm not done yet. I want to go and achieve these things that I believe I can achieve?
I had to come back to, Carl was fighting Alex Polizzi at the time. So I was working a good bit, and then once a week I was coming in sparring Carl, and I was standing Orthodox, like trying to be a wrestler at Orthodox. And it was fun, it was weird. Like, honestly, at that point, I felt a little bit like, I suppose sulky and bitter was the word, because I put so much into that. But look, it was obviously like something you couldn't feel like you took a chance, you got done. That was the thing about it. It was kind of a funny situation to be in, and somewhere I'd never like planned on being, and felt a little bit bitter about like putting all that effort into it and not getting that out of it. My whole life for the year beforehand had been about winning that $1 million. There was nearly like a lack of purpose and a lack of identity. So when I went back doing a few bits, actually I felt a lot better, because it gave me something outside of fighting, that I was like, okay, you're still a person. You can still actually achieve things in life outside of this. Because once I was banned, it was just like, sure, who am I? What do I do now? And that was tough. Like, it was difficult, especially like I wasn't young, you know, I was what, 33, 34 when I got banned there. So like, yeah, it definitely wasn't easy. But the one thing, like, those sparring sessions were the one thing that I really look forward to in the week. And I noticed that pretty quickly. And I think even if I didn't have that, I probably would have come back to it. I think the reason I'm here is because I really enjoy fighting and I love the actual art of fighting. Martial arts has been something I've been really lucky to actually get the bug for in life and want to be good even if there wasn't really a reward. For the years there, I wasn't getting that out of this. I still love coming to training. I still love the sport. I still love getting better at it. My reward always felt like it was being class at it rather than getting a shitload of money or getting something getting recognition outside of it, getting celebrity status outside of the sport. It never meant that much to me. It was just being really good at fighting. So I think that because that was the goal, it kind of never left me, the desire to be really shit hot at fighting. I don't know if there had been zero incentive, if that would have stayed. If there hadn't been anything I could have got out of it, in financial terms, if I'd still be doing it now. But thank God it came to a point where I knew I was good enough at this to make this happen. And I remember when I was over in Chicago with Carl for that fight, myself and Dave Roach had a very frank conversation because at the time I was kind of playing with the idea of being done with it. And he was like, nah, you're not done with it. He kind of knew that I was just toying with the idea. And he was like, you're too good to stop. You're too good to stop. And he was like, you'll go on and achieve a shitload once you get back into it. And, I thank him for that conversation because, I probably wouldn't have stopped regardless, but, it's good when other people around you that they know what you are and you know what you are. So, it's just go on, and look. Even if it hadn't worked out fully, I probably would have regretted not trying. So I'm glad I tried, and look, thank God, here we are.
Yeah, no, coming off a long way since those days as well, and obviously going on and a match made in heaven. I would say you getting in with Oktagon. I think you want to be known as a good fighter, and I think you are known as a good fighter and will be known as a good fighter. But you also have the personality too. I think that your personality fit into exactly what Oktagon were looking for. Brash, confident, Will fucking Fleury. That's what everybody knows and everybody loves, and that's the way it always was. And I think that the partnership that you and Oktagon have grown together has been really special. And I think, it's something that, no matter what happens down the line, obviously, you have lots of big fights ahead of you as well. I think getting from the bottom to where you are right now is a fantastic achievement. And obviously you're striving for more success, for more greatness in the coming weeks and coming years as well. From talking to you, and correct me if I'm wrong, I felt that there might have been a chip on your shoulder for that respect because, I think a lot of people knew how good of a fighter that you were, but you maybe weren't getting the respect that you felt that you deserved. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think it's always, even now, I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about how they're building Buday and, the way they treat guys like Vosgrun and all this sort of thing. You get into this sport because you want to be the best, or well, I did anyway. Now, is that mentality sustainable in every way? No. I'm not here to, be the absolute alpha in everything I do. But at the same time, when it comes to competition and martial arts, man, this is prize fighting. If you don't want to be the top guy, what are you doing here? Who wants to be an average prize fighter? And I kind of felt like that was always how I got treated with the likes of Bellator and the PFL. It was token Irish guy. And I was never that. They try, they put you fifth or sixth on a card. You're like, I'm way better than all the guys in this card. And it's not about being better than everybody else at the card, but it was you don't even give me the platform to build what I am off of this. And I think, look, I could have been this 6-7 years ago. Now, have I acquired skills in those years? Yes, of course I have. But I feel like if I'd been given the platform to go and make myself something, I could have gone and done it then as well. But I'm in a place now where I think everybody can see this is what this guy can go and do. And now I just really, really want to go and do it. And look, I've won 2 belts already. That's great. I'm really still determined to go smash a guy like Buday, 135 kilo guy. Incredible achievement in my eyes. Will be very proud of that when I do it. But I'm also okay, the doors that are open after that are significant. There's huge opportunities here. there could be other promotions involved. There could be a third belt. I see the middleweight title, Macman Murdoch there is just after getting his visa for the Czech Republic revoked. That belt might be coming open soon, and they're just finishing up the Game Changer tournament, Jocko and Engizek. So like, Engizek is technically the champ, but had to like make an interim title while he was defending or doing the Game Changer thing. There's a lot of interesting things after this as well, and I'll put myself in a really good position to go and exploit that. So obviously, I felt in the past like, yeah, I'm not getting a massive amount of respect, blah, blah, blah. That chip on your shoulder drives you. There's still new things that I'm like, why am I not getting that level of respect? Why am I not like, even here's like one of the things that pissed me off a bit recently. They're promoting the shit out of Oktagon. Like I get it, he's German and he's a big star on Instagram, right? But like, I've come in, fought with a broken hand in my first fight. Second fight, knocked out a guy with a fucking incredible knockout in the stadium. Third fight, came in and beat Formola in Prague. Big Czech legend in Czech Republic. Did get a lot of respect for that fight, in fairness. Then the fourth fight with Tonev. That guy was the boogeyman. Nobody wanted to go up to heavyweight and face him. I took that fight in pretty short notice. Went to his home. Like, he's Bulgarian, but he lives in Stuttgart for the last 15 years. Went to Stuttgart and beat that guy in his home city. And like, then a week later, Vasco signs for him and holds some dude's leg and gets dragged across the cage. And they're like, he's our guy now. He's the main event guy. Let's get rid of Fleury. Like, let's just ignore what Fleury's fucking done. And they're like, to me, it's like, okay, if it's going to be about this, I'll keep going in and being incredible, keep going and whooping everybody's ass, keep being undeniable, because I know that's what I need to be. So yeah, there's definitely still a bit of a chip on the shoulder.
Well, I feel like this fight in particular, it's like you're talking about opening doors there, and like you've been talking about this for a long time about wanting to create kind of special moments and assert yourself and be Will Fleury in there. And I feel like Oktagon has done a really good job in the last number of years of creating what it is today, but there's still almost this level of sometimes it can be hard to understand. Okay, he's beaten this guy, but what does that mean? Whereas you now have Buday, who's coming in and he's 7-1 in the UFC, and I think this is a phenomenal opportunity for you to be where it's a very tangible, right? Okay, I've beaten all these guys who you may not know in Oktagon, but now I've gone and beaten this guy who like there's no denying it. Is that it? Like, what do you see as the opportunity here against Buday, and what do you think it does do for your legacy?
Like you've just spelled out there, everybody can see what it is. Like, look, I haven't been a heavyweight until my last fight, and I'm going to go up to that division and beat a guy who's 7-1 in the UFC. How can you deny that that's incredible? So that, even when this fight got made and I saw the opportunity of that, straight away, like, obviously, there's a lot of work to be done. The guy's no joke. He's 7-1 in the UFC and he's a lot bigger than you. I don't take that lightly. I'm not like, I'm just going to go up and smash that guy. But I've done that work now. I'm ready to go and do that. And I'm incredibly excited about the opportunity that is there to go, like, to make that part of my resume, And that's the thing. Like, I kind of feel like I'm on the stairs. And I did those first few bits. Like, I went to Prague, I beat Carlos. I went to fucking Bulgaria, I went to Stuttgart to beat the Bulgarian guy, Tonev, whose home city, Stuttgart. And now it gives me this opportunity. And it's like, when I climb this step, where does it take me? And it's incredibly exciting when you know that this will get you somewhere. And that's probably why I was so frustrated with the likes of Bellator and the PFL, where you kind of felt like the win meant nothing. It's like, oh, you beat this guy. Okay, cool. In 6 months, we'll get you out and you might beat some other guy. Grand. Where does this lead? They're like, why am I doing it? What's the rank? I will give you good money. And like, look, I'm not denying, like, that money really helped at the time. I've been able to make a living from fighting for quite a while, thank God. I'm not trying to say that those companies didn't help me at those times. Of course they did. But in a way, I always felt like I was a fighter who could make something more special. And I'm getting the opportunity to go and do that now. And I'm incredibly grateful for that opportunity and very, very determined to make the most of it.
You mentioned the middleweight belt there, and I'm listening to you, and you were talking about how you were 34, 35, where you feel like your career really started taking off. And heavyweight is an old man's game, really. Like, as you move up the weight classes, it's probably to your benefit. You've gone up to, you fought up middleweight previously. then you were light heavyweight, now you're heavyweight. Are you really considering going back down to middleweight? Like, is that seems like a pain in the ass to like the onlooker.
Just burned with Buday last week. He's 104 kilos in the middleweight. I'm like 106, 107. And like, to be honest, if I don't overeat for 2 or 3 days, I'll be back down to 104 pretty quickly.
Okay.
So that guy's going to make middleweight at the end of January. Now, I don't know if I'd be able to lose it as quick as he can. But like, yeah, that just, now, I like, I'm not saying I want to do that quickly. You know,
but you're confident that you can, like, you're confident that you can get back down to middleweight and hit the scales.
Oh yeah, like, yeah. I wouldn't be confident I could defend all 3 belts at once, and I wouldn't want to defend all 3 belts at once. But I would love to win all 3 belts at once, and I think I could do that relatively quickly after this defense, and then, you know, relinquish whichever belt. Here's the thing, like, it's kind of annoying in a way. The light heavyweight belt, nobody wants to fight me at light heavyweight. So like, I put up a post there a couple of weeks ago about like, you know, 3 of the guys in the top 5 I've already beat, and the other 2 are going down a weight class now because they're just afraid to fight. So it's a very...
Who's that? Is that Popek and Vosgron, is it?
Popek and Vosgron have both moved down. So they're going... Popek just fought at 89 kilos, and Vosgron is going to fight an 87 kilo catchweight for his next fight, even though he was hunting me down, apparently. So he's hunting me down by leaving the division.
So does part of you want to go back to the middleweight division to kind of to chase those kind of fights? No,
because like, look, those guys are jokes. They're not proper fighter. Like, I'd rather fight real guys like Murdoch. Murdoch's a legit fighter. He's class. Like, even the fact that Buday's coming in, it's class. I want guys I can build my legacy off of. You know, Vosgron was a funny one because it's like, okay, this guy's calling me out. He's shite. Like, so, and every German, like, I get loads of messages off German fans telling me he's going to smash me. But I'm just like, class, let's watch what happens when I actually do get hit. But unfortunately, like, he's never going to fight me. That's the reality of that one. Like, he knows. And that's the kind of thing, like, that one's nearly gotten a bit sad now because, you know, I feel like the guy's nearly been pushed into a position in life he doesn't want to be in. I'm sure he's going into gyms every day of the week getting smashed and knows that he's crap, but like, every German fan thinks he's the beast, he's the man, he's the guy. So he's got to live up to this like fake facade and feels nearly trapped into it. But like, all of his fights have to be like very, you know, managed and very like, you know, not real. They can't let a lad fight someone legit because they'll smash him. And everybody's invested in him not getting smashed now. So his whole life is like a charade, basically. And even like, he's pulling out on the guys they've picked for him to smash. Like, I genuinely feel a level of sympathy for the poor bastard. But hey, mate, you called me out. You haven't said you don't want to fight me, so I'm going to keep saying it. Like, you know? And until like all these fans stop messaging me telling me he's going to smash me, I'll keep calling for him.
that's it. Everyone is lining up to meet the champ. Obviously, look to focus attention on the fight ahead. Buday, you're back in Prague. It'll be almost a year, I think, since you won the light heavyweight title in Prague. You're back there again. You have some good memories over there. You spoke very highly about the O2 Arena over there. You know, it must be special for you to come back there again, come full circle to defend their heavyweight title there. Are you looking forward to that kind of experience over there in Prague and fighting in front of the crowd over there?
Yeah, it was an incredible atmosphere last year. Like, honestly, it's by far the best. Like, I think there was a video I put up there a few weeks ago of like me walking out and just the wall of boos hitting me. And I remember the feeling of it. Like, it was only when I saw the video that you can fully remember it. You're like, whoa, that was a class energy. I hope it's as passionate this time. I know Buday is Slovakian, so I don't know if they'll be quite as invested. Even if they, like, I know now I got a lot of respect off the Czech fans because of beating Carlos and because of like going up a weight division only a couple of weeks later. But like, I just want passion. If it's for me or against me, I don't really care. But if the fans are that invested again, that gives you such a buzz. There's such an energy off of that. So yeah, look, the atmosphere last year was incredible. I hope to God it's similar this year. But the last year was more about like getting in there and being the champion. This year it's about like opening the doors for true legacy, and Buday is really that. So like, there's kind of a bigger inherent motivation in this. I know the belt should be the big motivation, but beating Buday really is like, it's just, you know, Andy spelled it out really well there. It's that chance to be like, yeah, went up a division, beat the guy who's 7-1 in the UFC. What are you going to say now?
It's a statement win, right?
Yeah, it really is.
When you're looking at a guy like Buday, who I guess comes in at the heavyweight as he'd be a bigger heavyweight, he'd weigh closer to the limit as opposed to Todev, for example, who was he would have been more closer, a bit lower down. Do you take that into consideration in camp when you're looking at what weight you go in? So do you anticipate going in heavier this time?
So I'm actually probably a bit lighter than I was the last time around. I think I was 107.9 the last time so far, and we'll see what I'm like. It's 2 weeks to the fight, but like the last time I weighed myself, I was 106.4 or something. I've gone up and down a bit over the last few weeks, but like it's basically just been training and eating and like seeing where your body is. In terms of have I treated it differently? Yeah, and look, he's a huge heavyweight. Like he cuts. He's one of the last to weigh in most of the time when he was in the UFC, and he weighed in at 266 every time. So like he walks around at about 135 kilos, so he has to lose 15 kilos to make 120. Big guy, but like most of my toughest rounds, and I've like tried to get in some big spars with big lads, even when I was away over in Vegas and everything. Most of my toughest rounds were with with guys who are middleweights. So even like the big light heavyweight guys I've been sparring, they've actually been easier, generally speaking. Like Atiba was a tough spar, Strickland was a tough spar over in Vegas. Like, I'm not saying size doesn't matter in a fight, but skill matters a lot more than size. Size is definitely a factor. It's a factor you have to respect, but it's about planning how you're going to negotiate with that. And like, there's opportunities within that as well. Him being 135 kilos means he has to carry that body for 5 rounds, if it goes 5 rounds. Like, I definitely respect the fact that this guy has a very good record. He's 16-2 overall as a heavyweight. You know, very few heavyweights get records like that without being very good. The guy, he's a weird fighter. He doesn't look massively impressive in a lot of the things that he does, but at the same time, he's fought a lot of decent lads and done very well against them. And like, he consistently finds ways to win fights where you would say he doesn't necessarily have the skill set to go and win that fight. I look at my skill set and I look at his and I go, well, I'm a lot more advanced than him in a lot of ways. But you give this guy opportunities to make this a kind of boring, dirty fight, he's going to do it. So it's about not leaving those doors open, you know, dotting your T's and dotting your I's, crossing your T's, and like making sure that all those little doors are closed, that there is no window of opportunity for him to make this sloppy. You go in, you perform nice and clean, you just get it done. And like, that's what I've been doing for the last 12 weeks, is kind of just honing in on those little areas of like not allowing him to make it sloppy, making it nice and clean, and just continuous high energy as well. Like it's the ability to move for 5 rounds explosively, pop, 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 be gone, pop, 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 be gone. So I think like me winning is a very aesthetic fight. Him winning is a very dirty looking fight. If I allow that to happen, it's a failure on my behalf. And I've done the work to not make that happen.
In the build-up, he has seemed to be a bit dismissive of you beating him in your face-to-face that you had. Do you think he's a read on you, and do you think he's overlooking you a little bit? Maybe not respecting what you've done in Oktagon since he's gone to the UFC and he's coming back now?
I think after that, after the face-off, his energy was a little bit different. I think like he came in going like, oh, this guy's only in light heavyweight who's moving up. I'm a proper UFC heavyweight. I'll show this guy. I think even just by looking me in the eyes and seeing what my buzz was that day, he knows now that that's not the buzz of it. I think he's pretty nervous coming into this, to be honest. But look, doesn't really matter, does it? Like, it's all about how we both get in and perform on the night. And like, I feel like I have a lot of windows to do things against him. Obviously he's trained, he's done his work for this one, but I'm levels above this guy in a lot of ways. And if I don't go in and show that, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Obviously, you can't give too much away in terms of tactics and stuff like that. Where are some of the key areas that you feel that you can get the better of Buday in there?
My hands. Like, look, I can lay hands on this guy and I can do it without getting touched too much. So, yeah, look, I'm not making too much of a secret of him going at him. Like,
well, it's interesting. Like you you're the king of two divisions here now in Oktagon. You have the opportunity, let's say, best case scenario here, you go in, make a complete statement performance, you take out Buday, if you're in front of a raucous Prague crowd, like it's clear that you're already thinking, you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what is next? So what does come next? Like, is it the third belt? You kind of hinted there about, like, I don't know if you were talking about co-promotion or whatever, you mentioned kind of other promotions, but like what, like, do you have a roadmap in your head of like how you then top that? Because like, that's a pretty big thing to do, is to take out a guy like Buday from a sporting perspective. So how do you top that? What comes next if you go out there and put him away?
Look, first thing is get out there, put Martin Buday away. That is 95% of my focus right now. But you got to see where the chips are going to lie afterwards. And to me, there's some incredible opportunities out there afterwards, but it's about how you go in and do it. It's the manner in which you win. So, like, going out there 5-rounding, like, in a close, tough fight with Martin Buday, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, Fleury managed to grit that one out. Oh, yeah, his last fight was pretty gritty too. Oh, he's tough. It's like, yeah, tough guys don't get to win massive things. You go out there, you smoke that guy, you look like you're in a whole different class to that guy. Now there's a lot of doors open. Like, I'm 36. I think it's pretty undeniable that I'm one of the best unsigned fighters in Europe now. I can go and win 3 belts. I'm a unique build. Like, I'm not a massive guy for a heavyweight. To be honest, I don't really see the rest of my career being at heavyweight. This is just a unique opportunity that's come up. I want to go and accomplish things in the sport, and I want to make that a reality and give myself the window to make that a reality. So the first thing is just going in and performing on December 28th. And then afterwards, like, I don't have any specific, that's definitely what's going to happen after this fight. But could I be a triple champion? Yes. Would that be incredible? Of course. Are there other opportunities out there if you go in and perform? Yeah, there will be.
Well, I think when you got the drugs ban, and obviously that was the end of your tenure at PFL, I think most people would understandably say, well, that's the UFC maybe off the cards. But time has passed now, and you've done plenty of things now, and your stock from a sporting perspective has never been higher. And if you go out here again, double champion, I'm misreading this, but are you referring to the UFC as a possibility down the line for you? Are you has that door closed for you?
Not in my mind. Like, look, UFC have signed guys. So UFC have fucking signed guys after all sorts of things. Yeah, I never felt like that window was closed. Like, the reason I signed with my current manager, Brian Butler, is because he told me he could get me in directly. So straight off the bat, I thought I was getting into UFC. And that's happened with a load of other guys. There's plenty of examples of that. So I never felt like that close that door or that window and look at the sport. It just doesn't. That's the reality of this. Yeah, like, in my mind, that's like, I want to go and fight at the highest level. But at the same time, I have a promotion who've given me the ability to go and be this. If that's where, like, if those guys value me, show me what, like, they want to happen in my career, show me that, like, hey, look, we understand you're something truly special, that you have your skill set, and, like, you have the buzz here. And, like, I know that they're not planning on coming to Ireland, and that's not something that's, massively in their interest at the moment, or that they see as being in their interest at the moment, because financially Germany is a way bigger market for them. But if they show me that, like, they're interested in building a legacy with me, cool. Like, I'm open. I'm genuinely open-minded. I really, like, and this is the truth, man. My goal has always been to show that I'm fucking incredible at the sport, and, like, obviously making a living becomes part of that eventually. But I know that the way I'm set up mentally, I can go and do things 99.9% of people can't do. And I'd feel very, very disappointed if I didn't make the absolute most of that, especially in this window that I have now, where, like, I genuinely feel like I can manipulate the universe to be what I want it to be when it comes to fighting.
Well, we really appreciate the time. We're not going to keep you for too much longer now. couple of quick ones from me. What's the prediction for the fight? How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think if he comes at me early, we could do it by the end of the first round. If it's a little bit slower and more tactical, I was thinking third round TKO. I watched him, like, he stays fresh enough for a lot of the fight. Third, fourth round TKO would be if he, like, plays it a bit more elusive, a bit more tactical. A lot of the time he seems to wait for guys to go at him a little bit and then tries to come back at him. I wouldn't fall into that trap of like trying to finish a guy. He's got a massive head. He's quite good defensively, even though like he doesn't mount a lot of offense while he's being attacked. He is good at covering up and not getting massively hit too badly. But at the same time, I wouldn't be. Yeah, it's about pacing it the right way, and I think that would take 3 or 4 rounds to really break into him.
Indeed, I'm going to finish with a real hard hitting question here now. How many spuds on the Christmas plate?
As many as I want, man. It's heavyweight. So like I fly over on the 26th, and yeah, I think I'll probably, like last year's Christmas dinner was like 2 slices of turkey and 4 Brussels sprouts or something. So this year it could be a bit better, and spuds galore. You know?
Love it. No spuds safe. In Dublin or Tipperary, you going back home? I know you're in Dublin now. You going back home to Tip?
I'm actually not home, so I fly out early on the 26th, and family are home for Christmas, so I might go down home and drive back up. Like, it'll be all in the one day.
Yeah.
Because I'll be training on the 24th, so I might go down that morning and come back up that evening and then fly out the following morning. I haven't decided, so it might just be here as well. So we'll see.
100%. Well, Irish MMA will finish with a bang. December 28, Oktagon 81, Will Fleury versus Martin Buday for Will Fleury's heavyweight title. Really looking forward to it. Thanks for the time as always, Will. We're really looking forward to that fight ourselves. I will be tuning in with bells on to watch that big fight, and I appreciate your time as always, and we wish you the best. Enjoy your Christmas dinner and safe travels over to Prague. All right. Back to the action from this past weekend. I'm sorry, I had to cough. Maybe edit that out.
Nah, leave that in. We'll leave that. People cough sometimes. That's okay.
I have something in my throat here. I need a drink. But wow. That's what I'm going to Wow. Cristiano Ronaldo's wow.
Wow, indeed. Yeah, Jesus. Wow put on a serious show. I think, again, they've been flying under my radar a little bit. Like, the quality that they put on, the production, the events, like Spain is booming for MMA at the moment.
Yeah, I think it was like, they've always had like 1 or 2 Irish fighters on the card. And, obviously it was the first time that, I can't remember who the first one was, but yeah, they, the production values, I think, Ilia Topuria now is kind of, he has ties there. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo is coming in and buying into that organization too. So, that with the backing of both Ilia and with Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, and what the product that they have already, which is important as well. I mean, WoW have potential to become a major player in European mixed martial arts. Last night we did have some Irish on the card. We had Paddy Rutledge, we had Dara O'Sullivan, and we had Craig McGrattan all fighting on the card as well. Mixed bag of results for the Irish on the night. Let's start with Paddy Rutledge, Caoilte. Defeated via unanimous decision by Carson Coe. Not his night over there. Spain's and Irish is. We'll give half of them to Spain, but we're definitely taking the other half.
They had the half and half flag as well now. So
are you just doing when he loses his Spanish? Irish.
Spain's Paddy Rutledge,
Patricio Rutledge.
Yeah, it wasn't his night, to be honest. Carson Coe looks really, really good. I can't lie. Paddy just couldn't get going in terms of the striking. He was trying to tie up those grappling exchanges early on, get the clinch and get him down. He did have success in those, but not enough. And when he did get it down, he couldn't keep Carson Coe down. He struggled with the this kind of MVP Wonder Boy style, where Carson Coe is kind of on the outside and he wasn't even within range, but he nearly leaped into range with single shots and move out so quickly before you can even get a hold of him or get a shot back. Now, he did have some success end of the first round. He got cut bad. I think that really slowed him down for the rest of the fight. I think it was a spinning elbow or something that caught him, and it was a nasty one. So from then on, he was on the back foot, really, and the decision was correct. Just I think he could be potentially a better grappler, but just couldn't really do anything in positions. That Carson Cole was just far too good for him on the night, and he looks like a real prospect as well as Carson Cole.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's what I noticed. Like, none of these opponents are easy for any of the Irish. I thought, like, the matchups were very well matched as well, which is a good sign. And I'm not sure any of you. Just go ahead, Quilcher. Huh?
The one thing I like about it, they don't even match. They're guys that they think are going to be like, you know, they want to build into the stars. You know, you have your ones that they draw crowds. You usually want to kind of bring them up slightly. They're putting these guys in with absolute killers. There's one there, the guy who beat Palahan, who is quite popular over in Spain. They threw him in there with Zé Machado, who's straight up one of the best fighters coming out of Portugal right now. It's I really do like the matchmaking, because it's kill or be killed in there. You want to be the best, you have to beat everyone around you, essentially. It's great.
That's the way it should be. I think it's a sign of a good promotion, and as promotion should work, the best fight and the best when the time is right. That's what we like to see, Andy. Andy, I don't know whether you had any thoughts on Paddy Rutledge's fight, but I was going to move on to O'Sullivan's. But
just the only one-liner, just the positive takeaway. I thought he did very well. He got cracked with some big shots in that first round and did very well to survive and to, you know, maneuver his way out and, you know, get to kind of safety and then pick his shots off as well. So, you know, I think that there is something to be said for that type of experience where you're like, right, you can come through the fire. Okay, you don't get the win, but you know, you still see the 15 minutes out.
100%. Antonio Forfiga defeated Dara O'Sullivan via unanimous decision. Again, another very close, well-matched fight. Forfiga, this guy is very awkward. Very unusual guy to read. Very well-rounded, Andy. And, you know, another guy in Dara O'Sullivan, obviously, you know, suffers the first defeat of his professional career, you know, coming in here, you know, pretty hyped up. I was looking forward to seeing him fight, and, you know, he fought always almost a mirror image of the style that he brings as well, like explosive striking, quick grappling, quick off the in the scrambles, just a very gritty fighter. And, you know, it was a close fight, but obviously Forfiga did just enough. I would tend to agree with the scorecards, and this did just enough to beat Dara O'Sullivan on the night.
Yeah, I think, like to your point, there's no, like, he's only 1-0. Like, it's not the end of the world to take a loss at this rate. Like, we've seen he's looked really, really good, obviously coming up through the amateur scene, and okay, he picked up a couple of losses towards the end, but fighting really experienced guys, really good guys, and he was going to split decision with Sam Simon, and he looked really good in his pro debut, fighting a 3-0 guy, and wow, and okay, you know, he takes a loss here. But even if you look at this card, like to your point, like Theo Bashford fought on this card, had a sensational head kick knockout, and it's like, oh wow, like, you know, all the hype in the world. Well, you know, Nikolay Grozdev beat him earlier this year, so like you can come back from these losses very quickly
a lot of fighters are not fighting that level of opponent that early in their career either. If we're being honest.
No, and 30 minutes of action now in the WoW cage for Dara Sullivan, and really valuable experience. So, you know, I definitely think he's got a lot to show still, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing this next one.
100%. Pride Never Die. Craig McGrattan defeated Santana via TKO KO in round one. A close one. This was a close one, Caoilte. I think it was I guess before we get to the finish, McGrattan's obviously, you know, he came out using his normal style, very relaxed, feinting, landing those big shots, fighting very long, explosive in his entries, very good distance management. You know, just kind of was picking apart Santana before the finish came. Obviously, lovely shots to the body. Talk to me about the performance, about the finish itself. A contentious stoppage, but one that we're unsure about. But we couldn't really get a good angle to see where the soccer kick landed. Did it land in the head? Did it land in the body? I obviously, we're an Irish MMA podcast. Of course, it landed to the body. No, but it was a great performance by Craig McGrattan and a great finish too. Obviously, the cage side officials labelled it a TKO. It wasn't a foul. It was teetering on the edge, but a perfectly paced shot. But perfectly paced shot, I think is the right terminology there.
Yeah. Look, it was pride never die is the best way of putting this one. It's all I could think about when watching it. It wasn't against an easy opponent either. Santana's a tough guy, but I think Craig took this on 3 weeks' notice as well. But look, he started really, really well. He looked good for the off. Some nice feints early on. He was throwing those shots at mean intentions constantly, chipping away at that front leg. Near the end of the round, he had he had a massive flurry as well. Dropped Santana, and one thing that really stood out to me throughout this whole fight, and I don't know if this is a new thing that they're doing in KF or is it unique to Craig, but these little oblique kicks that when on an opponent in a grounded position is a new thing I've not seen much of, or I can't tell you the last time I've seen, but he used them. They're really creative. I like those. I thought they were something new that I haven't seen in quite a long time, or if at all. So he was keeping his opponent guessing. I thought the first round did really, really well. Second round, that low kick, once again, it was money all day long until Santana actually started landing some shots of his own, and the fight IQ of Craig, exceptional, got the fight down. And started landing some punches. Santana's trying to work his way back up, Craig catches the ankle, so Santana falls back down, and then Craig, Pride Never Die, comes out and whoosh, nice little soccer kick, but it landed to I don't know what the angle was.
Do we think? Yeah, I find it very hard to know if it was legal or illegal, to be honest.
Did it hit
think it was they had about 75 different camera angles and not the one that we needed, or like they finally panned to the one that we needed, and or they cut to the camera angle that would show it, and then the camera just kind of pans up right as he throws the kick. It kind of looked like it hit the shoulder. It looked to me like a completely illegal. When on first watch, I was like, that's just, he's after booting that lad in the head, and then you kind of see the broken down angles and a few more angles and slow down and stuff. And you're like, okay, it kind of looks like it hits the shoulder first and then maybe slips up, but you can't see. So I don't know. KF are obviously very adamant that it's legal, as they should be.
The commentator wasn't.
The commentator was like, that's no. But to be fair, I don't know how the commentator. I think it's very difficult to say absolutely it was X or Y based on what we were seeing on the broadcast, and that's what the commentator's also seeing. So they're like, oh, he clearly kicked him in the head here, when it's like the worst angle.
Yeah, but you have to trust the cage side officials, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
And obviously they deemed it legal. So
and they took a good long look at it.
Yeah, they did.
The promo after was phenomenal, I thought. They just gone full heel. Like, do they not teach biology in Spain?
Exceptional.
I love it. But yeah, great win for Craig McGrattan as well. I mean, really impressive performance. Like as you said, Caoilte taking the fight in short notice as well. So yeah, he rides off into the sunset with another win. Biggest result of the night though, guys. Nikolay Grozdev defeating Brett Johns via KO. Well, this was a great performance. Didn't have it all his own way. Andy in the first round, I think, had to fight back and showed what he's capable of in round two when he went on to get the finish. I think it was an absolutely wonderful performance. And, you were saying it on your Instagram. I think everybody is thinking it now, after a win like that, UFC vet, like a guy at the stature of Brett Johns, some great things ahead from Nikolay. And this was a fantastic performance.
It was unbelievable. I was really, really impressed by him. And obviously that first round, Brett Johns did, the commentary team were like, oh, I can't believe he's trying to take Grozdev down. I'm like, well, you may not have seen a Brett Johns fight, because this is his bread and butter. Really, really good submission artist. Really, very impressive, top pressure. So it wasn't really a huge surprise to me that he did try to take Grozdev down, especially with the potency on the feet. I thought Johns looked pretty good. Obviously, Johns, he's a pioneer for Welsh MMA. He's fought in the UFC. He's fought everywhere. Really, really tough tests coming in here for Nikolay Grozdev, and he just passed it with flying colours. And obviously, okay, you don't have the ideal first round, but not a horrendous one by any means. And he just came out like he was shot out of a cannon in the second round, just completely, just pouring it on Brett Johns immediately. And it really only took 26 seconds in the second round. And I mean, he dropped him. Like, I don't think there would have been outrage had the ref stopped it the first time he dropped him and was pouring on the follow-up shots. And then obviously Johns, to be like fair play to him, he got back to his feet, but he went out in the shield, like landed another huge shot, and that was all she wrote. And like to do that to Brett Johns, who has never been finished before, he's fought in PFL, he's fought in Bellator, he's fought in the UFC, he went 5-2 in the UFC, he's never been finished before, and to put him out like that, I think is incredibly impressive. Like, I don't think that, like, we weren't watching a shot. I know he retired after the fact, but it's not, I don't think you're watching like, a fighter who's completely shot or anything like that. Like that, okay, maybe he might not have been at his absolute peak, but that's still a Brett Johns that's very, very dangerous. And I think to do that, and to 3-0 in 2025, he's on a 5-fight winning streak. He's 100% finish record. He is absolutely the UFC's bread and butter. And if we don't see him in the UFC, I'd be very surprised. The only thing, which is a bit unfortunate, just based on like we always talk about now, the fact that he's getting this win and this in December, you'd hope it's not just you have to be funneled through the Contender Series, because that's a good bit away. But like, I'd love to see, February, March, getting him on a card, maybe that London card or something in March could be a shout for him. So yeah, it's got to be UFC for Nikolay though. Brilliant performance.
Like, that's just a statement win. That is like, you used to watch, maybe guys in Cage Warriors and stuff like that pick up wins like that. It was kind of UFC ready win. You know what I mean? And that definitely is what Nikolay looks like. Caoilte is UFC ready. Like, when you're going away and you're putting guys away like Brett Johnson. Like, that second round is so important too, because when it didn't go his way in round one, he made sure he came out and made that statement in round two. He was probably almost like fuming with himself, and that's the way he kind of fought in round two and got Johns out of there really quickly.
Yeah, this is one of those wins that you shouldn't even need the Contender Series. This isn't one of those things that you need to prove to Dana that you should be in the UFC. You've beaten a guy who had a positive record in the UFC, never been finished before. By all means, one of the, he's a legend of UK MMA, probably one of the pioneers, one of the pioneers of Welsh MMA, and all around just fantastic athlete and fighter. To do that, to go out there and do what Grozdev did, is so impressive that he shouldn't need Contender Series. He should be straight in. He's proven before this, definitely you would have been thinking Contender Series, but this is one of those that Brett Johns, I would have argued until maybe even last year, he could have still beaten a lot of guys in the UFC. So I think to go out there and perform the way Grozdev has performed, it should be a sure thing. Never mind all this Contender Series crack, straight in. He's perfect for them. It's like a match made in heaven, really, isn't it?
It is. It's exactly what the UFC are looking for. He ticks off all the boxes there, and hopefully it happens for him. And that's a great way to round up this episode 96, on a fantastic performance from Nikolay, and we're all very excited to see what happens. That's it, lads. Anything I missed?
Did we mention Fufu Fares' win?
No, we did not mention Fufu Fares.
He had another win, so I think that's 3-0 now. Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. With the week that's in it, the Christmas week, I have actually not got to see this fight yet, so I'll be honest with everyone. But I did see he got the win, and fair play to him. And like, he's a guy, I think 3-0 now as a pro, 3-0 in 2025, a really hot prospect, and all under the UAE Warriors banner. So like we've seen how good he's looked. I'm looking forward to watching the fight. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that he had another win, and another one in the win in the win column, and on to 2026.
Yeah, 100%. It's 3-0 for him this year in UAE Warriors as well. I think, obviously we're going to be doing the awards fairly soon. His name will be in the mix for definitely on the emerging prospects list anyway. So that's a really, really impressive 2025 for Fufu there, and big things coming in 2026 for him. All right, that's it. Episode 96 is in the books. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Will for joining us to chat about his big fight. Really looking forward to that one on December 28th. Massive fight there. A late Christmas gift for Irish mixed martial arts fans. We hope you enjoy it. We'll be back for one more episode this year. The year in review. We had a kind of a monstrous year in review podcast last year. We're scaling it down a lot more. Just the three of us for the next episode. We don't want to
Nice intimate.
nice little intimate session with the three of us to look back
Until the draft talk starts coming out.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Let's forget about that for now.
I'm dusting off the gum shields and the gloves for that one, boys. Fairly confident.
We've a puncher's chance, I think. Save it for the pod.
All right, lads. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hit us up on Spotify. Give us a like on YouTube or anywhere where you listen to the podcast as well. One last time, Stevenson wants to come in.
Shout out to Anthony, who listens to the podcast. I said, I heard we have a special listener. And so shout out to Anthony. So fair play to you. And fair play to everyone for putting the Spotify and Wrapped and all that stuff.
Yes.
Didn't see any, actually. So actually, fuck yous all. Do better next year. Thank you.
Right, and all that's left for us to do is for a Caoilte to see us out.
Nolig chuna díobh Eve Galéir agus Gurmiel Magov agus Longfall.